I have been married for 64 years, and I need to tell you something that nobody told me when I was young, something I had to learn the hard way, something that took me decades to understand, and something that if you're in a relationship right now, or hoping to be, might be the most important thing you ever hear. Don't marry for love. Now wait. Before you click away, hear me out. Because I'm not saying love doesn't matter. I'm saying love is not enough, and there's a big difference. I fell in love at 23. Head over heels. The kind of love they write songs about. The kind where you can't sleep, can't eat, can't stop thinking about her. I thought I genuinely believed that feeling would carry us through everything. Through the years, through the hard times, through life itself. I was wrong. And it took me until I was almost 40 years old to finally understand what actually holds a marriage together. Stay with me. Because by the end of this, I'm going to tell you the one thing that saved my marriage, and it's not what you think. Her name was Margaret. We met at a dance. I was standing by the wall, too nervous to talk to anyone, when she walked in wearing a yellow dress. I know that sounds like a movie, but that's exactly how it happened. 3 months later, I asked her to marry me. I was 23 years old, and I was absolutely sure. I had butterflies every time I saw her. I thought about her constantly. When we kissed, I felt it in my whole chest. I thought, this is it. This is love. This is everything. And I told myself, as long as we love each other, we can handle anything. Oh, how wrong I was. The first few years were beautiful. I won't lie to you. We were young and happy, and the world felt full of possibility. We moved into a small apartment. We cooked together. We stayed up late talking about our dreams. But life doesn't stay small and simple for long. We had our first child, then our second, then our third. Money got tight. I was working 2 jobs. Margaret was exhausted. We stopped staying up late talking. We stopped cooking together. We stopped looking at each other the way we used to. And one day, I remember this so clearly. I was sitting at the kitchen table, going through bills I couldn't pay, and I looked across the room at my wife and I thought, I don't feel it anymore. Not the butterflies. Not the electricity. Not that feeling I had when I saw her in that yellow dress. I felt guilty for thinking it, but I thought it. And here's what scared me the most. I didn't feel nothing. I felt something worse than nothing. Some nights I felt frustration. Some nights I felt loneliness, even with her right there in the room. Some nights I felt trapped. This is the part nobody talks about. We had years, and I mean years, where things were hard. We fought about money. We fought about the kids. We fought about whose turn it was to be tired and whose turn it was to be strong. We had arguments that lasted for days. We had silences that lasted for weeks. There were moments when I thought, is this it? Is this what the rest of my life looks like? And I'm going to be honest with you, because I think honesty is more valuable than a pretty story. There were moments when I wanted to walk out the door and not come back. I think she felt the same way. We were 2 people who had promised to love each other forever, and some days we couldn't even stand to be in the same room. Where were the butterflies now? Where was the magic? Where was the love? I'll tell you where it was. It was gone. Just gone. And that terrified me. Because I had built my whole marriage on the foundation of that feeling, and now the feeling had disappeared. So what do you do when the love doesn't feel like love anymore? Most people do one of 2 things. They either stay and feel miserable. They convince themselves this is just how marriage is. They go through the motions. They live like roommates. They exist side by side without really seeing each other. I watched this happen to so many couples around us. Quiet, resigned, slowly fading out, or they leave. They say, the love is gone, so the marriage is over. And they go looking for that feeling again with someone else. And sometimes they find it. For a few years, and then it fades again, and they leave again, and the cycle continues. Neither of those options felt right to me, so I started asking myself a different question. Not do I feel love right now, but why did I decide to marry her in the first place? And when I sat with that question, really sat with it, I realized something. The feeling that brought me to Margaret was never going to be the thing that kept me with Margaret. Because feelings change. Feelings come and go like weather. One morning you wake up and the sun is shining and everything feels warm and easy. The next morning, there's a storm. Does that mean the sun is gone forever? No. It means it's a storm. But I had been treating the feeling of love like it was supposed to be permanent. Like a clear sky that never changes. And every time a cloud appeared, I thought something was wrong with us. I thought we were broken. We weren't broken. We were just human. Here's what I learned. Love is an emotion. And emotions are not something you can control. You cannot decide to feel butterflies. You cannot force yourself to feel that electricity. It either shows up or it doesn't. But commitment, that's a decision. Commitment is waking up every morning and saying, I choose her. Not because it's easy, not because it feels electric right now, but because I decided and I'm keeping my word. That's different. That's completely different. And here's the thing nobody tells you. When you keep choosing someone, when you keep showing up, even when it's hard, even when you're tired, even when you're frustrated, something happens. The love comes back. Not always the fireworks kind, not always the yellow dress kind, but something deeper, something quieter, something that feels less like lightning and more like warmth. The kind of love that isn't loud, the kind that doesn't need to announce itself, the kind that just is. I want to tell you about a night, maybe 12 years into our marriage. We had just had one of our worst fights ever. I don't even remember what it was about. Probably money. It always seemed to come back to money in those years. I had gone to bed angry. Margaret had stayed in the kitchen. It was maybe 2 a.m. when I woke up to her getting into bed. She didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. But after a few minutes, she reached over and took my hand in the dark. That was it. No apology, no big speech, just her hand in mine. And I remember thinking, this is commitment. This right here. This woman who is angry at me, who has every right to stay on her side of the bed forever, is reaching over and choosing us anyway. I held her hand and I cried. I don't think she knew I was crying, but something shifted that night. Something got built. A small brick in a very long wall. That's how you build 64 years. Not with grand gestures, not with constant romance, but with small choices, repeated every day, even especially when it's hard. Now, I want to be clear about something. I'm not telling you to stay in a bad marriage. I'm not telling you to stay somewhere you're being hurt or disrespected or treated badly. There are marriages that need to end. There are situations where leaving is the right and brave thing to do. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the hard patches, the dry spells, the seasons where love feels like work and the butterflies are nowhere to be found. Those seasons are not signs that your marriage is over. They are signs that you are in a real marriage with a real human being, living a real life. Every long marriage has those seasons. Every single one. The couples who make it through are not the ones who never stopped feeling love. They are the ones who kept choosing each other through the seasons when they didn't. Margaret died 3 years ago. I was with her at the end. I held her hand, the same hand she reached for in the dark that night 40 years earlier. And I thought about all of it. All the years, all the fights, all the silences, all the times we almost didn't make it. And I felt something I did not expect to feel. Gratitude. Gratitude for all of it. Even the hard parts. Maybe especially the hard parts. Because the hard parts were where we really found each other. The butterflies brought us together, yes. But it was the commitment, the daily, ordinary, unglamorous decision to stay and keep building that made us into something real. Something that lasted. Something that, even now, 3 years after she's gone, still warms me when I think about it. So if you're young and you're in love right now, enjoy it. Feel every bit of it. It's a beautiful thing. But when it gets hard, and it will get hard, remember this. The feeling that starts a marriage is not the thing that saves it. What saves it is the decision to keep showing up, to keep choosing, to keep building, even when you're tired, even when you're frustrated, even when the butterflies are gone and the silence is heavy and the person across the table feels like a stranger. Because on the other side of those hard seasons is something the butterflies could never give you. Something built, something earned, something real. Love starts a marriage. Commitment saves it. That's what I know at 87. That's what 64 years taught me. I hope it doesn't take you as long to figure it out as it took me.